Hello there, guys. Welcome back. My name is Mike, aka Decimal Punt, and we're doing some more game dev. And tonight we're on Unity, and the version is 2022.3.26 F1. So it's going to be a short one tonight in Unity, as I'm going to be jumping straight into Unreal after this. Earlier today at uni, I was playing around with the code for a pause menu. So this is the user interface. It's quite an essential menu that the player needs to be able to pause the game for a bio break or just from the hard difficulties, I guess, of the game. If they need a break, if it's too much, they have the option to pause the game. So it's going to be a short and sweet one. So I will just quickly show you the code. So this is what I was playing around with earlier. So this is kind of what we're going to be creating, this tiny little non-intrusive kind of window there, and very simple code. At the moment, I've only got this main level. I don't have a main menu. I will get that set up. It will have to be a different scene, but I'm not going to do that anytime soon because there's still a few more mechanics to build. Here's the rest of the code. Just do the button click. They look quite similar actually. What's the difference? Oh, that was to do with pausing the game. And that was the game's start, I believe. Anyway, those are my own reference. So I thought I'd do this from scratch because those of you that might want to learn how to do UI, very simple, very straightforward. So you'll notice at the moment I already have I've already got the HUD over here. Now if I turn that on, you can see how large it is. It's huge compared to the actual game space. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be creating. Well, first off, we're going to create an empty. And we're going to call this canvas. And I'm going to move the HUD into the canvas. Hold on a minute. Where did that just... I thought I just moved that into the canvas. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to move this towards the top. Okay, so in the canvas I have the HUD. If I just click that I, we can toggle that on and off. So the reason I wanted to put it in the canvas was just to keep that all there for like the UI. So within the canvas, I'm going to create an empty, and I'm going to call this pause menu. Okay, so the HUD at the moment is the canvas. Just bear with me. Pause menu. It's completely different to Unreal. I much prefer doing UI in Unreal to Unity. So what we need to do is, let me just check at the moment. So just getting my bearings, guys. Right, so with the pause menu, if I just minimize, right, hold on. If I go into my assets, where was the one I was using for the current? There we go, the UI GUI. Right, this was what I was using. So these are the kind of panels we're going to be going for. And bear with me. Right, so within the pause menu, so the HUD, at the moment, it has the canvas on there. One second. Oh, I remember what I did. Right. Okay, hold on. This is where it's right. Okay, one second. I need to rename the HUD to canvas, canvas to HUD. Bear with me. So we'll call this HUD. we'll call that oh my god, canvas. Right, so we move the HUD, because that kind of needs to come up the top there, and then the HUD needs to go into the canvas, and the pause menu needs to go into the canvas, and the HUD needs to have all of that. There we go, that's better. That's better, there we go. Okay, so as you can see, the canvas now correctly has all of the information here. The HUD is there, so I can turn that off. You can see there. Right, so as you can see, the HUD itself is just like an empty game object. It's kind of like a folder, okay? So we're doing the same for the pause menu, right? So now within the pause menu, we're going to create a panel, because as you can see, the UI for the HUD, it just has the panel. So we're going to go to the UI and we're going to choose panel, and then I believe it was bar ready. So I select this and I drag this over to there, and there we have it. We have the panel, and then hello. I'm not a software engineer, but thank you. Thank you. Oh, it's Mike. Guten Tag. Wie geht es dir, mein Freund? Wie geht es dir? Right. Why am I not seeing that panel? I don't think it was an image. Canvas renderer. Why am I not seeing the... Is that you, Mike? Harmer. The parent pause menus transform. Oh, you mean the canvas itself here? Where's that little circle? I did this earlier today. Auf Wiedersehen, mein Freund. Guten Nacht. I did this earlier today at uni. Just bear with me. I'm wondering if it's because the HUD's there, the pause menu's there. It's... I'll tell you what, I'm wondering if I delete the pause menu. That wasn't a good idea. Let's do that. There we go. Right, get rid of that. Right, so panel, bar ready. I did do this earlier, the pause menu. I did do this earlier. Hold on. This is so annoying. I literally did this earlier today. I remember clicking preserve aspect. Bar ready. I think it was the colour. Yeah, it was the colour. That's what it was. It was the alpha. The alpha dog. Right. So if I do the preserve aspect, the scale, the reason it's so huge, there we go, that's better. There we go. Right, so what I'm going to do, that's really annoying because I wanted to have an empty for the, tell you what, let's just get the panel set up. Mastiff, I think that's your first time in the chat. Welcome to the stream, dude. Right, so I'll just show you what I did do earlier today. So what I'm recreating is essentially this. This is what I did at uni. So we've got a resume, main menu, and a quit button. Okay, so I'm just going through this step-by-step process. So anyone that, like I say, wants to learn how to do the UI, it's kind of there if anyone wants to learn how to do it. Right, so then I had the button. So if I just zoom in here, what I'm going to quickly do actually, if I do an empty and just call this, if I put that in there, is it going to play ball? Yes, it is. There we go. There we go. It's playing ball. The pause menu is within the canvas. We have an empty folder. It's now working. Perfect. Okay. So we have the panel. So what I now need to do is add the buttons. So we'll go for Text Mesh Pro button. Okay. Now I need to quickly do something under the Text Mesh Pro. Where, right. Oh, again, I did this earlier. I need to add the default. There was like some default, there was like a pack. There was a pack you could add to, you could add a pack to the, I appreciate it. That's very kind of you, Master. That's very kind of you, dude. There was a pack, like you could add the default, like a chunk of text mesh. Where was it? I think Window Text Mesh Pro. Let's do examples and extras. Oh, that stuff's all. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I've got that in. That's good. That's what I needed. Right. So the buttons. Now, if I go onto the button here, I'm just going to get up my picture. Right. So I'm going to need a resume button. So on the button, I'm just going to call this resume button. We're going to go onto the text itself and call this resume. And there was a font I found earlier which I quite like, and it was called Electronic Highways. Right, so now going back to the button itself, we basically drag the button over there. And then we will scale that. So it's quite big, isn't it? If I do preserve aspect, there we go. That's better. Right, so now going back to the text, if I put this down to about 12, that's good, isn't it? 12's good. And then I did that one. There we go. I like that. And then I had, it was like a golden colour. I'm hoping I'll be able to, there we go. I can actually go on the other, perfect. This is just temporary. If I feel the colour doesn't fit with the, I think red and yellow it's a nice combination, and that's not a yellow. It was more a golden tone of yellow. I just feel like it contrasts well against the dark red. Right, so what we need to do, you'll notice the padding, and that was, where was the padding? Padding. Not that. Raycast padding. Okay, so we're going to just zoom in. And basically this is the clickable area. So if I show you at the moment, if I was to press play, right, I will be able to click where this green box is. And you'll see the button. So we can see on the left here. So you can see I'm roughly clicking around here, even though I'm not on the button, because I'm within that green box. If I come over here, you can see it is actually quite, it's actually going from the entire end of that. Okay. Right, so the text itself, does this have padding as well? I don't want auto size. Button, if I just do, no, that was daft. I'm wondering if it's the panel, even though the panel's not a button. That's not even affecting the padding, is it? I think 60 is the golden point there. If I reset that to 0, center. Okay, and then if we do the bear with me, guys. I just need to test this. Right, so if I just click underneath, you can see I'm clicking off of it there. So if I just do the padding on the right, if I just test it, if I put it on that line, we'll see if that if I click that edge, if it will register. Yeah, okay, so it's wherever that white box is. It's literally this white box here. So if I just undo that. It was preserve aspect, wasn't it? Got the image, got the button. That's quite annoying, isn't it? I'm wondering. Just bear with me while I catch my bearings here. That's the panel. Right, so the pause menu. That's the pause menu. And then the panel. Panel there. Hold on, why have I done that? 1 second, guys. There we go. Right, so pause menu is that. And then the panel itself. Preserve the aspect. Right, and then if I shrink that down, that's a good size pause button, I think. Resume button. I think that's a fairly decent size. We're only having 3 buttons. Right, so I'm going to make that just big enough for the button there. So we'll call that 0.35. 0.3. We'll go 3.5, 3.4, 3.3, 3.2. We'll go 3.2. And turn off that, and then that's the panel. Now the scale of this, we're gonna have 2 more buttons to add. Right. So the pause menu is anchored. The panel is going to be a child of the pause. Welcome to the stream. Right, now with the button itself, what we want to do is, I believe, is sort out the, so if I do the left 2.27 as well, top, get that there, so we'll go 1.93, 95, let's go for 2, okay, and then we'll do 2 on the bottom. That's really annoying. You can see where I'm clicking in the game, my cursor, the tip of my cursor is not actually on the button. I'm clicking the panel. And it's this white edge. It's kind of like we need... Kind of like we need the Anyone got any ideas? This white region is I think the problem, bear with me, let me just see. Oh, well done. Oh no, that's not done it actually, that's made it worse. You see what I'm trying to do with the button, mast. I'm going to just call you mast. Single syllable. Essentially, I want this button, this white border, like if I press play now, I'll be able to click off of the button. You see here, I'm clicking off of the button. I need this white boundary to fit the button image that I've put in there. I mean, I've done loads of UI in Unreal. Today was actually the first day I was doing the UI menus. I've already set up the HUD. But essentially, I want the white boundary of the button. I want the button image to... Sorry, I want the white boundary to be literally on the edge of the button. So I think it's possibly to do with the image itself, maybe. I'm not too sure, dude. I'm not even sure if Raycast target or the paddings. The sprite borders. I think you might be right there, dude. Yeah, you can see here. I think it's because of this here. This button frame. Yeah. Yeah. The sprite editor button. Okay, hold on. So has that cropped it, or has that just set the... I've just clicked apply. So has that defined the edge? Because if that would have cropped that image, we would have lost that transparent background section, wouldn't we? So if I now click on that... I'm just trying to gauge. Okay, so I'm looking... Oh, it's hard to tell if that is the green boundary. Let's see if this makes a difference. Let's go for 7. No, still doing it, dude. It's that white section, isn't it? What a pain in the arse. What a pain in the arse. This is so annoying. That size of the button is perfect. I'll tell you what, let's just do this again. If I just get rid of that resume button, TaxMesh Pro, right, and if I drag that on there, how sodding annoying. Well, if I change this, it's going to shrink. That actually... But that's the problem, isn't it? The button itself. It is like the edge, like you say. If I do the preserve aspect and then... Like we've still got the issue of... Is it any of the settings on the image or the canvas renderer? I shouldn't need to adjust any of this because the pause menu itself is anchored. I'm not a noob, it's just on the way Unity does its UI is so different to Unreal. Stretch. Could it be to do with this section here? With the anchor of it? Is that potentially what's causing the problem? So is there a way I can crop the edge of that button? I mean, failing that, if I just do that again, I know this is a bit repetitive, but if I try different, if I try a different button, and if I put on, I don't know, this one for example, there we go. Problem sorted. Problem sorted. I'll just stick with that one. I just didn't want to go for the border. I didn't like the border. I liked the red. I just liked the red on its own without that border. I guess that's me just being picky. The thing is, I don't really want to go slicing the images and messing around with them. At the moment, the HUD, the panel at the bottom, I think was this second asset here, stretched out. But that looks like it's doing the job. So if I just test this, if I just do the resume and do the electronic highways and then SC and then the colour. Hold on, why has it been a bastard? There we go. And then we'll scale that down to, I think it was 20, 22? Let's do 20. There we go. Right. So now, if I just test that, image type. Oh, I see what you mean. Got you. I got you. Yeah. So is that what that green edge means in the when I was in the previous window here, where I had that green outline, that would have been the sliced? Is that right? Even though I hadn't kind of cropped off the image, with that green outline, where I defined the edges, would that? Right, okay. We can give it a go. Oh God. So now it would be the scale. Oh my God. I don't want to waste time on this. I feel like I should just stick with the other one I had. Where is the sprite editor gone? Sprite editor. We've done the green. Go on the button. I mean, that's done it, hasn't it? That looks like it's done the job. Yeah, Unity UI, dude. I can't stand it. I don't know if you've used Unreal, but Unreal UI is so much more pleasant to work with. It really, really is. Right, let's increase that. If we just test this, it's a bit small, but actually, if I temporarily make it a lot bigger, just for the testing purpose, and we want to make sure that where the edge, this should work now, because what happened when I had it on sliced, by default the pixels per unit was 1. Putting it up to 100, it looks like it is correct. So there we go. Can you see that? I can now, it's the tiniest bit off. Just, you see, just there. It's literally a pixel off, but I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I think that does the job. I prefer that button to the one with the thick, with this one. You see here at the bottom right, I feel like it clashes with this border of the panel that I've dropped in. I like that this one has, I don't know, I just prefer this one to the other one. So, okay, let's shrink this down. I think we had it at 2.5, didn't we? Okay, so we have our resume button, and the text. The text is almost central. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably Let's add in the other buttons, because obviously I've got main menu, which is going to be a little bit longer. So depending how much space the main menu text takes up, we need the buttons to be the same size. So, am I happy with... Yes, I think I am. Yeah, okay. Alright. Oh, you bastard. Oh, no. I said 2.5, didn't I? There we go. Okay, save. Right, so now we're going to label this as resume button. If I just copy that and call this main menu. Now, bearing in mind, I've only got one level at the moment. I will create a separate scene, which will be for the main menu. And that will just have like new game, settings, new game settings, a couple other things. I will do, dude. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for your input. I appreciate it, and hope to see you again in another stream, maybe. Take care, dude. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are going to shift this down on the Y. If I just do 50, no, minus. If we do minus 50, needs to be more. Thanks for following, Mast. Take care, dude. Right, I think 90 is a good spacing. I don't really want the buttons touching. Let's see how close we can get. Let's try a little bit closer. I think 80 was a good spacing. And we can just test that to make sure that we're not kind of... Yeah, okay, the middle section's clear when we're clicking that. Okay, awesome. Take care, bro. Okay, so now we go into the text for this one, and we'll say main menu. Okay, and again we're going to copy, paste, and it was minus 80, so this one will be minus 160. So 80 plus 80 is 160. And then we will call that quit button. And then we'll go into the text and we'll call this quit. And as I expected, yeah, that text does take up a lot more space. So I kind of yeah, I don't want to. I mean, if I get that panel. See, the pause menu is anchored to there. Okay, let's see. No, we don't want to do that. essentially we want to shrink the panel. Let's try 1.5. And then if I shift these up on the Y, so maybe 50, 60, 80, 90. Is that good? That looks good actually. That looks like it's... Right, so if we add 90, that'll make that 10. And add 90 to that, that makes that 70, I think. Okay, so we could shrink the panel maybe by one more. 14. Okay, and then this is just fine tuning this, guys. So do 10. Right, okay, let's bring them down by 10. So that'd be 0. And then this would be 80. That looks perfect. That looks fantastic. I'm happy with that. If you look at the top of the buttons where we've got this black outline, and where it touches, where it's kind of in line with the this kind of, I'm not sure what, it's kind of like a grey, isn't it? It's kind of like in line with that little notch there, and down the bottom it's pretty much the same. So looking at that at a glance, it all looks symmetrical, and just the placement, it feels right. Equal space top and bottom, left and right. And we know when we click on those buttons, we know the gap in between doesn't conflict with the other buttons. So see that? So really nice. I'm just wondering for the I feel like for, hold on, let's zoom out of there. I feel like it shouldn't be dark. That's a lot better, isn't it? If I zoom in. So on the pressed, if I set the alpha, let's do 100. Feels too ghostly. So let's go for 150. Okay, so 150. Pressed. Do 150. Main menu, pressed. 150. Quit, pressed. 150. Save and try. That's nice and clear. if we just zoom out. Yeah, that's nice feedback, isn't it? I wonder the highlight colour actually. What would be really cool, the highlight colour. Now, if I just save and play, if I make the change whilst we're playing the game, it should revert back. So if I go for like a yellow, that's interesting. Oh! Oh, it's because I was on the quit one. Okay, right, let's just copy that hex code and go onto this one, highlighted, and resume button, highlighted. Do that. So now, oh, that's much better. Look at that. So when we're hovering over the button, can you see it's changing colour? And then when we click it, that's a bit weird. So obviously once we've clicked it, it will do something. So you can see, like, obviously when we click it, it's either going to quit the game, resume the game. So it's kind of like a one-time use. But I'm really happy with that colour, guys. I think I'm going to stick with that. It's all about the player feedback, like how the UI responds to the user. You know, they need visual feedback. It needs to be clear. They need to know that what they're interacting with is interacting back. So let's do that one more time. So hovering over that, it should highlight it, that yellow. That's really nice. And the yellow, it just adds a bit of life. And because I've chosen yellow, it kind of complements the colour of the text when we're hovering over that. So that's yeah, it's really nice. Oh Jesus, sorry, let's have a bit more coffee. Okay, I'm happy with that. Right, so that's the pause menu. So now that we've got the buttons in, I'm happy with that screen. We know that's center of the screen. There is one more thing I want to do. I want the background. I want the background to kind of be blackened a small amount. So, because at the moment, as you can see, there's a lot of colour with the game, the HUD, everything's still there. So the menu itself, it just doesn't feel like it's a menu. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a black box that will kind of, it will just kind of cover the background. Just like, you know, in most games, when you bring up a menu, you're either fully inside the menu or the gameplay screen is kind of, is separated, so you can tell, you know, like the game's paused, you know, it's feedback. Okay, so I'm just wondering if I created if I was to do another panel, and then if I was to put that under there, and then if I was to set the colour to black and set the alpha like that, that looks good, doesn't it? Oh, I love that. Look, it's making the menu pop. Can you see that, guys? Now, if I was to change the colour to white, it just looks crap. That, you know, it doesn't look good at all. I don't like that. Whereas going for, like, even a grey doesn't look right. Whereas black, solid black, just bringing it up. So, you know, like that's a bit extreme, but because the panel on the HUD is a dark grey, the darker, the more opacity we put on the panel I've just put in, it darkens that. But we basically want that little menu to pop. So I think I'm going to go for 200 on there. Close that. If I did 100 on there. Ugh. I don't think that even makes a difference really, does it? No, we'll just keep that as 1. Simple. No, keep it as sliced. Jesus. Okay, so I'm going to have this as... What should I call that? Just... Fade. Game fade. I'm going to call it dim game, because that's what it's doing, it's dimming the game. I really like that. So if I turn that off, you see that difference there? If I zoom in, actually, that's better, yeah. So if I turn that off, can you see the difference that makes? Nothing about that pause menu itself has changed, but just adding on that panel with the blackness as the colour, it just makes the pause menu pop. It just separates it completely. I really like that. Fantastic. Okay, right, so now what we're going to do, we have those buttons in place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save the game, and I am going to look at the pictures I made earlier. Well, that's not very helpful. Why have I taken two? Oh, okay, got you. Okay, so we're going to need 2 object variables at the moment. Or were they scene variables? I think they were scene variables. No, that is right. Okay. Alright, so we're going to add a sorry, bear with me. Right, so the pause menu is there. Right, so we're going to what we need to do. Let's add the component script machine, and we're going to say new, and this is going to be pause menu, pause menu, handles, toggles the display and interaction of the pause menu. And then if we click edit graph, so on start, get rid of the on update. Okay, save project. Okay, so on start, what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to, yeah, so it is a scene variable. So we're going to make a scene variable here, and this is going to be called pause menu UI. And this is going to be a game object. Now, if I go up here, and what I do is I get that pause menu and I just drag that down onto the value for the variable I just made. Okay. So on start, we're going to get the pause menu variable, and we're going to set. So on the game object, we're going to set active. Okay. So at the start of the game, we're basically saying that it's going to be not active. If that was ticked, it would be active. If it's not ticked, it's inactive. Okay. So we can just test this. So if I press play, that menu will disappear. Okay. Right. So that is that section handled. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a comment, and we're going to say pause menu inactive on at game start. Okay. And I'll give this an orange colour. We'll just make that snap to the grid. Okay, so that is that bit. Okay, and then what we're going to need, we're going to go into the player blueprint. I'm going to just quickly comment some of this code. That's more a debugging thing, displaying the player's health to the console. I had that when I was setting the burn damage up. I was kind of trying to sort that. I'm just going to move that to the side there. This is applying burn damage. Is burning false. Set that true, burn sprite. Okay. 1 second. I'm just making sure this code here is commented correctly. I've already done this on a previous stream. It's just because I'm adding in the escape button to bring up the pause menu. I just wanted to make sure existing code that's not commented is kind of all nice and tidy. So on here we're going to say if player is burning, player isn't burning. Update to say they are burning. And give player feedback in the form of a burning sprite above the player for a 5-second duration. And I'm going to give this orange because it's burn damage. That's for the lava. This one inflicts burn damage. 1 second, guys. Copy that hex. There we go. Job done. There we go. So those two I've set to orange for handling the burn damage. Okay, so all the code is nice and tidy. Now we can add in the pause menu. So we're going to say keyboard escape is going to set through game object. Game object. Set active, get the scene variable for the pause menu, turn that active, and then we're going to pause the game. And to do that, we set the timescale. 0 is paused, 1 is ticking. Okay, so when the player presses escape, we show the pause menu, we pause the game. And if I just test that quickly, there we go. Oh, I can still, I can still move the, character. That's quite funny. Okay. Yeah, the reason why the sprite is doing that is because up here, I think it was actually on the player sprite itself. Yeah. It's because I've got this here. So that flips the sprite based on, well, if they're moving left, they're pressing A, we flip the sprite. If they're pressing D, it goes the other way. We can look into that fix. I'm going to add that to my list of bug fixes. Bug fix to do. On game pause and also spike trap, need to disable A and D input so player can't move sprite. Okay, right, so if I go back to the player, scroll down to the code. Okay, we pause the game and just test that one more time. Press escape. I really, really like that. It's nice, it's compact, it's not in your face. Resume, main menu, quit. Bob's your uncle. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to give this a comment and we're going to say when player presses escape, the game is paused and pause menu UI displayed. Ugh. There we go. And we'll give that a very strange fluorescent green colour. Actually, no. We'll go for dark blue. For UI. Okay, so that pauses the game. So then if we come out of there and if we go into the pause menu, we now need to create objects under the graph, script graph for the pause menu. Okay, so that's all we've got at the moment. So we're going to need to have a option here. So object. We're going to bring down the pause menu there. And yeah, okay, so we're going to create an object and we're going to call this resume button. And so this is an object variable. It's going to be game object. And then we're going to get the resume button and just drag that on there. Okay, and then we're going to do a on button click. On button click. Get the resume button that we just made. And we're going to say we're going to copy this and we're going to say make that inactive and set timescale to 1. So by default the pause menu is hidden. When the player presses escape, they will bring up the pause menu. If the player clicks resume, we hide the pause menu again and we unpause the game. So save and test. Perfect. And you can see the game is paused there. I know that the character can be moved. That's quite funny. But yeah, it's pausing the game. So if I come off of that, if I just do that one more time. Resume, unpauses the game. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to give this a nice comment and say clicking resume button will unpause the game and hide the pause menu. Clicking the resume button unpauses the game. And we're going to give it that same blue colour. Okay. Right, so that handles the resume. So now what we need to do is create a object variable for the quit button. So I'm going to call it quit button. We're going to set that as a game object type. And then we're going to get the quit button and we're just going to drag that down to the value. And then we're going to do same here. So we are literally just going to copy that code, and instead of it being the resume button, it's going to be the quit button, and we're going to say quits the player application. So when the player clicks quit, it will close. But apparently you won't actually be able to see this feature working until the game has been compiled. Because Unity won't allow you to kind of just close it, because apparently it will close the whole of Unity if that were to happen during this creation phase, if you like. So clicking the quit button will close the game and return to desktop. Job done. Copy that hex code and put that on there. Job done. Perfect. Okay, so the only thing we need to do, guys, is the main menu button of the pause menu. I'm not going to be able to do that yet because I haven't created a separate scene which will just have the main menu. So yeah, it's not been done just yet. So thank you for the spam view, Roaring. Appreciate that. Well, thank you very much. So resume button, quit button. Really straightforward to do, guys. And if I just come out of that, so under the pause menu script machine, we've got inactive at start. 1 second. Yeah, so it's inactive at the start. The player presses escape, brings up the pause menu. Job done. And you can see on the code there, when I'm clicking the button, it would close the application if I zoom into the code there. when I'm clicking that, it would close it. Okay, so like I say, the rest of it, apart from the character moving when I'm pressing A and D, yeah, like I like that font. It's readable. Like you got to bear in mind as well that we're kind of, if I make that bigger, I like that. So there's then the matter of making sure that the HUD font matches that of the UI menu, just so there's consistency. If you have too many different types of fonts, too many different colours, it just doesn't look good. You know, it's just too much. I'm undecided on. Oh my god, I'm tired. I do apologise. I'm undecided at the moment on the HUD size because like we have the score and we have the timer. I do like how it looks, but you can see there's empty space there. I would like to have score and timer written above those individual parts. But I'm just in two minds as to, you know, there's a lot of empty space there basically. The other option is to remove that panel, or maybe, I don't know, like if we remove the panel we would have the player's health bar. And I was thinking of kind of putting, maybe nesting the score and timer beneath the player's health bar, if there was a way that didn't look too distracting, because the UI I've got, the UI scheme that I'm using, the colour of the buttons would kind of clash with the health bar, so it's all making sure it looks good and it doesn't distract. It should blend naturally. So I may play around with that. But tonight's purpose, we have got the pause menu working, and like I say, when I've got a main menu in place, I will do that. Main menu button will work. Perfect. Well, I'm going to call that there for the Unity stream. 1.5 hours. I know there was a tiny bit of complication at the beginning with the panels. I can't, to be honest, I can't even remember how I fixed that. It was all a bit of a blur. Oh, the sliced. It was the sliced, I remember. So it's image type sliced. We've got the highlight. We've got the lots of little bits done there, guys. So I hope you have found it useful. So like I say, the canvas, the overall canvas handles the HUD and the pause menu. And like I say, by default, the pause menu is kind of within the canvas, but we are essentially hiding that whole section unless the player presses the escape button on the keyboard. So nice and bright. We press escape, we dim the game, and then we press resume. Yeah, so nice, very nice. It was actually fairly easy to do, to be honest, minus the complications at the start. But I hope you found that useful. It's really nice when you put the time in and then you've just got that one step closer to completion, you know. There's lots of different steps in development, and user interface is really important for the menus and the user and all the rest of it. So if you enjoyed that video, guys, feel free to give us a follow on Twitch to stay up to date. If you want to watch back previous game dev streams, which I have quite a lot of, you can subscribe on YouTube. The panel is below, and that will be, well, it's just a huge archive of all my past streams of game dev. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back in about 15 minutes and we'll do some Unreal game development for my group project. I'm going to be looking into the high score feature and one or two other things, so be sure to tune back for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next stream.